Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Back into the video from Anime News. I want to check out this One Punch Man Season 3 anime manga comparison. I always love stuff like this. I've seen all the complaints, I've seen people point out stuff. The dude drawn as a woman for like random frames, Garo just sliding down that hill with no kind of animation whatsoever. Let's see how close the manga actually is.
I don't know what everyone's all up in arms about. Season 3 is about as faithful to the manga as you can get.
Okay.
There might not be a lot of frames between them, but it's kinda shocking how precisely they decided to follow the manga. Now, I'm all for following the source material down to a T, but there's a stark difference between the way this does it and a faithful manga adaptation like, say, Frieren. So, due to how crazy some of these adaptation choices are, I absolutely needed to make a video pointing them out. There's some pretty ridiculous things to be found when you analyze some of the scenes closer, plus a few moments that weren't even included.
Huh.
So, that all said, here's a fun comparison between One Punch Man's anime and manga.
Episode 1, the strategy
First,
meeting,
we start
okay.
off with some glorious pans at the Hero Association, then
Okay.
the classic static dialogue shots with just the mouth moving, then a repeat of the same shot we got literally 15 seconds ago. It's all exactly how we see in the manga, minus a line about Blast and how everything but his hero name is shrouded in secrecy.
Alright. Alright, let's just play.
Enter Mr. Narinki, and aside from being the first few frames of continuous animation we've gotten so far, there's a skipped panel of him walking into the room to discuss his grievances, then a cut line where he's upset about having given them so much money with no value to see from it.
So, it seems like they've skipped animating things as much as possible and gone for as many still frames as they can and just copy paste from the manga.
Another panel was cut with Sekengal after, basically showing him reassuring Mr. Narinki that they were working as fast as they could. So, for those keeping count, that's 2 more panels in the manga than there are frames in the anime. Well, not actually, but there's been more scene variations in the manga than the anime so far. Fast forward to this scene with Tatsumaki, and what could have been an additional frame setting the scene with her and Sekengal was instead left out for this.
Oh.
A lengthy pan with Child Emperor.
Oh.
I'm
Which
guessing 'cause
seems weird because it seems like they've added more to the panel here.
there's enough moving parts on screen to qualify this one as better. The actual dialogue is identical, but when Sekengal gives his warning not to underestimate the monsters, Tatsumaki expresses her annoyance with it. It was a clear frustration with the situation we didn't quite get in the anime.
Huh.
Now, for this particular scene here, this was the moment I knew, okay, they're definitely just copying the manga panel for panel.
Yeah, wow, what the
It's not like an anime has never overlaid a static image on top of another static
Yeah, of
image
course.
before. It's just the way this was done makes it so clear they're not even trying to add anything. Like, any other anime would have extended these panels to at least be a full screen cut of the heroes, but here they kept the exact image pretty much.
Jesus. It's pretty much exactly the same, just made his nose smaller. Same. He's eating more of the hot dog. Alright.
The exact sizing and even the same angle of the black bars separating them. It's just such a jarring edit for a medium that's supposed to be fluid. The next scene with Atomic Samurai is pretty much identical, but what isn't
Mental.
are the character designs between these 2 frames here. You may not have noticed on your first watch, but if we go back and forth like it's some kind of eye exam, you'll start to see the differences make it look like it's from a completely different anime.
Yeah, what the fuck?
There's different sword positions, the outlining is very clearly less detailed, Ian's armor doesn't even look the same, and Bushidro's hair looks like a dresser came in and restyled it for him. I imagine it's because different animators were tasked with taking on these 2 scenes separately, and
I mean, yeah, look at that. So it's a... Oh my god.
and because the reference was this detailed panel versus this less detailed one, the end result was an inconsistent pairing across the scene in its entirety. It's a phenomenon we'll see happen a few more times this
This is
episode.
crazy.
The rest of Atomic Samurai scene provided no more and no less than the manga, so in a way I guess you could say it was perfect. The same could be said for the prison scene after, as every panel was included there too. The anime even added a couple extra shots and gave us a pan with Putty Putty Prisoner's backside.
Oh.
It's when we get to the next scene with Child Emperor that, rather than show him typing and tinkering with his tools, the anime instead just lets us hear it. Metal Knight then says he was in the middle of eating breakfast and describes the attack that destroyed him as some kind of horn like an antenna. It's minor details that aren't quite important, but the anime does include an ominous shot of what we can only assume is blood. The conversation then finishes with Child Emperor chalking the whole thing up to a waste of time, an excluded panel which wasn't too important either. This is where the manga gets to the scene with Fubuki, an encounter with Saitama that happens later on in the episode. We'll just talk about it now though, starting with this specific frame here.
Okay.
So, aside from Genos and Bang supposed to be looking more disheveled, I cannot for the life of me figure out why the anime just decided to have Bang's bare ass out like this.
Oh, so it's not even in the... What?
I know the director has a pretty experienced background with hentai, but as far as I can tell, this was nowhere in the manga.
Oh my god. Like, it's... They've completely moved this person out of place. So we can see his ass. What is going on?
So, to make that change here was certain...
Heck, the person's not even there. Person's not there, so we can see his ass. What the
a
fuck?
choice. I mean, they even have it front and center for a whole 15 seconds in a later scene here. It's a panel you'd think they'd
Scott, nothing like it, what?
replicate exactly like how they'd been doing before, but for some reason this one's surprisingly different in terms of framing. I guess we can call this a creative difference of sorts.
Like...
After was an extra panel with Bomb expressing how he was pretty beat up too, then an extended panel with Saitama showing King beating him in their video game.
It's like they're playing Game Boys, I love it.
Following it was a single panel with lots of dialogue, which any other anime would have added various cuts to make the conversation more engaging. I was wondering how One Punch Man might approach this type of scenario themselves, but it seems they just decided not to. Instead, we got a 23-second pan on the longest static image sequence so far. The conversation then proceeds to capture panel to frame with minimal changes, up until a panel with Genos mentioning how he would be out of commission for another day or two. With Dr. Kusuno resting after working on Genos' previous upgrades, he wouldn't have time until later to work on Genos' repairs. So that's why Genos was going to be out for so long. Next is another one of those frames taken straight from the manga, then after is a minor nitpick involving Bomb. We know his dialogue here was directed towards Bang, but rather than be looking at Bang like how he is in the manga, instead Bomb is staring upwards at who knows where.
So he's not even looking at the person he's meant to be talking at. Okay.
You wouldn't know Bomb was talking to Bang if not for him mentioning his name at the end. It's after Saitama leaves that's when we're introduced to Mr. Narinki's private hero squad, a group equipped with battlesuits powering them up to be stronger than that of the common hero.
Okay.
I know the anime said it could surpass the power of any professional hero, but I think common hero sets the expectations a little bit better. Each of them are then introduced by name, but considering their brief longevity in the story, they're really not all that important. Just a device intended to hype up the Monster Association. This brings us now to Garo, where as far as detailing goes, the anime is doing a decent job with it.
Okay.
We can at least be happy that a majority of the close-up designs are depicted nicely.
Yeah, they're okay. Like he said, except this one.
Garo's walk I can't really say the same for, especially since he's supposed to be leaning up against the wall, barely supporting himself.
Right.
If their goal was to portray him as stiff, then I'd say that's what they got, but I don't think that's the type of walk they were going for here. When it comes to Mr. Narinki's private squad after, a couple extra panels of them begging for mercy were left out, alongside Garo's astute observation that these were just mercenaries. And as expected of mercenaries, they were simply following through with the operation for the money, not the hostage. The next conversation with Gyoro and this machine god really highlight just how egregious the lack of animation can be sometimes.
Looks slick though. Looks really cool, but yeah, it's a still image and it's like...
Since both these characters don't even have mouths that move while talking, their back and forth is literally static pans with no movement whatsoever.
No.
Just static image to static image for the better part of a minute. Granted, the manga is like that too, but I feel they could have at least animated Machine God turning around to face Gyoro here.
That's so weird. Like, most animation studios do just add that extra little bit because it's animated.
In any case, it's here that the manga gets into what should have been the first bit of action, but it seems the anime decided to cut it out completely. It's the first major omission that's not just one or two panels. What it regards is the fate of these mercenaries, a discussion revolving around whether they should be killed or monsterized. Naturally, the monsters were very intent on killing them, all itching to get a piece of their newfound prisoners. They were blood-starved to the point that they couldn't wait anymore. Even Gyoro could tell he wouldn't be able to hold them back, so when a few monsters jumped in to get a piece before everyone else, that's when King the Ripper would step in to stop them. If the rule was gonna be first come, first served, then King the Ripper's urges needed to be satisfied first.
Oof.
It was the first introduction to one of the demon threat level monsters. His scene makes it fully clear he's just a sadistic monster in it for the torture, evident by his desire to hurt the humans in any way imaginable. Now, for Garo, who was watching this, he was thinking of just how chaotic all this was. To think there was a monster who could control all the others was unimaginable.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Then again, the giant centipede was shown to follow orders themselves, so there must have been someone strong enough to subdue these monsters. Getting back to the problem at hand, though, it was before King the Ripper could do anything to harm the mercs that Machine God would step in to offer his own opinion. This realigns the anime with the manga, but not without a massive inconsistency with the animation.
Oof. Yeah, baby.
You see, with King the Ripper removed from the scene completely, Super S's pose here doesn't make a lot of sense.
Okay.
Like, without something for her whip to grab onto,
That ass
what
cheek.
then is it making tension with to have it look like this? Well, in the manga, it was King the Ripper's blades, but here it's apparently thin air. It's a clear result of copying the manga
Just
without
taking
any
the panel.
consideration for what's actually
That's crazy. That is so crazy.
happening on screen. Just like with the Atomic Samurai scene earlier, I'm guessing an animator was given this manga panel as reference, then told to recreate it without being given the full picture. They probably didn't even know King the Ripper wasn't going to be part of the scene. If they did, then this is just the result of laziness, but I'm willing to give the animators the benefit of the doubt here. In any case, King would be ordered to give the mercenaries to Super S, resulting in their subsequent transformation into monsters. It's after that Machine God would find King's impertinence somewhat annoying, leading to his question of whether it was okay to kill other members. Killing between monsters was unavoidable, but due to their upcoming war against the heroes,
They want to save the numbers. Makes sense.
Gyoro preferred not to have too much of it. Really, the whole question was just a threat towards King, though, a display King could only laugh at. That's when King would point out he still smelled a human, demanding the one hiding show himself.
Ooh.
This is how Garo makes his entrance, revealing the giant Statue of Liberty-sized monster that somehow wasn't in any of the other shots. Now, much of the conversation after was pretty much the same, minus the line where Gyoro mentions how the full strength of the Monster Association numbered approximately 500. It was roughly equivalent to the ranks of the Hero Association.
Okay.
Finally, there was one more excluded panel involving Insect God, then it's after that we get into the post-credit scene. What's interesting about this is that the animation quality of these two walking is surprisingly normal.
Oh my god. Yeah. Ah.
There was none of this stiff, awkward stuff we got with Garo. It's not enough to say whether we can expect better in the future, but it is a good step in the right direction. Perhaps they're saving the budget for all the fight scenes. Now, there was a line left out where these two think themselves stronger than Garo, but that's likely just wishful thinking on their part. When it comes to Sonic's scene after, we unfortunately get back to the quality that we're used to from earlier. Like, where I imagine this was supposed to be some epic moment of Sonic putting on his scarf and resolving himself to be stronger, we instead got a repeat of the same 3 frames over and over again. But yeah, that's pretty much it for episode 1. I wasn't sure what I expected when I set out to make this video, but what I found in the process was definitely surprising. Now, I know this is different from what I usually do, but if you're new to the channel and want to see more, then leave a like and let me know down in the comments.
I like it a lot.
If you want to see other content just like this one too, then feel free to subscribe as well. This was kind of a bridge between my usual cut content and a review of sorts. It's a step away from the isekai and fantasy that I usually cover, but
yeah, there we go. That ended. Ciao. So, yeah, wow, madness, absolute madness. They are literally just taking the panel and just putting it on screen and then just zooming around it. That's just, it's absolutely. When you think about how good the animation for season 1 of One Punch Man was, it's unreal. Like, a lot of people complained about season 2. I didn't have a lot of complaints about season 2. I thought it was like okay, but this one, you're literally not. There's not a lot of effort going in, considering how popular this thing is. But yeah, that was fun. Just thought we'd check something out different because he's only done the one, and I don't think he's going to do any more because the views aren't there on his video. I imagine he decided to just go no Overlord cut content, which we are still on. But yeah, thanks for watching.